Berserker's Fury is MOSKOV's core piece of equipment, as its crit bonus synergizes well with the attack speed bonus he gets from his first skill. Build Wind Talker in the early game to give MOSKOV faster attack speed, and build Malefic Roar in the late game to increase his damage against heroes with high physical defense. With higher attack speed, MOSKOV can be strong against heroes that rely on their basic attacks, such as Hanabi and Mia. MOSKOV can also be strong against heroes with poor mobility and lack of CC skills, as he can continue to hit them with his basic attacks to refresh his skill cooldown. However, MOSKOV is easily countered by heroes with good mobility, like Lancelot and Natalia. Their gap closure skills are a big threat to MOSKOV. At level 1, we recommend upgrading MOSKOV's first skill. Focus on his first skill and use of his second skill as a backup. This is because his first skill can greatly boost his attack speed. Before casting MOSKOV's first skill, look for enemy heroes or walls next to the enemy target to make sure he can stun the target with the knockback. This will allow MOSKOV to maximize his damage and delay the target's counterattack. Casting it at the right time is the key to using MOSKOV's second skill. Look for heroes and walls behind the enemy to cause more trouble to the enemy. MOSKOV can be strong against heroes attacking behind the minions thanks to his passive. MOSKOV is best with heroes with AoE control skills that allow him to deal heavy AoE damage to them. For example, Atlas and Garogacha. In the laning phase, MOSKOV can use his first skill to move to a better spot, knock back the enemy, and stun them with his second skill. Then spam as many basic attacks as possible to reduce his skill cooldown. In teamfights, MOSKOV should monitor the battlefield situation, looking for the right time to dive the target enemy with his first skill, then cast his second skill to knock back and stun as many targets as possible. He should then cast his basic attacks to deal damage and finish off low HP targets with his ultimate. Passive, Spear of Quiescence. MOSKOV's basic attacks can penetrate the target and deal damage to enemies behind it. Each basic attack hit reduces the cooldown of his first and second skills. First skill, Abyss Walker. MOSKOV can use his first skill to teleport himself to the target location, gaining a damage bonus to his passive and an attack speed bonus for 3 seconds. Second skill, Spear of Misery. MOSKOV throws out the Spear of Misery at the enemy, knocking them back and revealing their location. When knocked back, enemies will take physical damage and be stunned if they collide with a hero or a wall. Ultimate, Spear of Destruction. With MOSKOV's ultimate, he throws out the Spear of Destruction after charging up shortly, dealing damage to enemies in a straight line. When it hits the first enemy hero, the spear explodes, dealing extra damage to the enemies behind. Enemies hit by the explosion are slowed for a duration, determined by the spear's flying distance. We recommend the Inspire battle spell for MOSKOV, because it will greatly increase MOSKOV's damage when combined with this attack speed bonus. We also recommend the Vengeance battle spell, which improves MOSKOV's survivability and his counterattack potential. MOSKOV should focus on farming, as he cannot deal much damage in the early game. He can use his passive skill to poke enemy heroes behind minions on the lanes, and his ultimate to support teammates across the battlefield. In the mid to late game, MOSKOV can use his second skill to stun enemies before bursting them down with his first skill from an optimal spot and finish them off with his ultimate.